Wanted to deal with what we call divergences, which is basically, as the name suggests, divergences. As the inverse relationship between price and a given oscillator. And oscillator of reference or oscillator of choice is the momentum wave, because evidently it has enough influence on the very direction of price. So price tend to react perfectly with the very direction of our momentum wave, which is our most influential oscillator. So when we say bearish divergences, the emphasis is on the bearish. The divergences is an indication of a non-correlation between the direction of price and a given oscillator. In other words, for every given uptrend, price is supposed to go up in accordance with its given oscillator. So let's say the reason why price is going up is because of our influential oscillator is also heading towards upward territories. But when there is a divergence, it means there is a distortion between the direction. There's no parity. Price seems to be heading upwards and divergences seems to be heading downwards. So that is what we call the divergences. So when you bring in that bearish, the emphasis now comes on the very direction of our oscillator. So our oscillator is bearish because it seems to be heading towards the negative territories, whilst price is heading towards the positive territories. So a typical example is this one here. You can realize that price has headed towards the upward territories, headed towards the upward territories, and our oscillator seems to be declining towards the negative territories. So evidently price will now find its direction, perfect direction, because our oscillator, which is our leading oscillator or influential oscillator, seems to be heading towards downwards, and price seems to be heading towards upwards. Most cases when these things happen, as either there is enough liquid backing price, or we have other oscillators pushing price up, but until price realizes its true direction and now responds to the very direction of our influential oscillator. And I'm not just saying this to say that you have to trade all the time when you see a bearish divergence. Sometimes you also have to also scan your environment and also see the overall direction. That's because you saw a bearish divergence, it doesn't mean you have to enter a trade. It's just one path of trading. And I'm saying don't base your entire trading decisions primarily on just the very direction of momentum waves. The whole section is I'm just trying to highlight momentum waves as an oscillator, basically, and just touching the various elements of it. But overall, if you want to determine direction, you have to find confluence, and I think I have to also highlight or talk about confluence. So what confluence is and how it affects trading, and why you need to find confluences in trading. And I think overall trading is all about direction, and our oscillators or our waves or our Google Maps are the essential elements that helps us determine the very direction of price. So bearish is when price seems to be heading upwards and our most influential oscillator is heading downwards. So bullish is obviously the inverse, which is when price is heading downwards and divergence is heading upwards. So this is basically how divergences work. With time, if you find time and go through the script, you can extract so many different alternative ways of trading, and I just want to keep it simple all the time. Just touch to the basis, not really trying to spend so much time explaining the same thing, but also trying to make it very simple and short, but very clear and concise, so that the very average person can extract the very crystal centricity out of it. Like, once you understand how it works, you appreciate the whole concept of trading. And trading has always been simplified. It's always been a direction. And I think I have other series videos I will touch on when to trade and how to trade and what not to trade. And there's so many stuffs in the pipeline. I do have a course as well, which is a very simplified course. And I wouldn't say it's ready. I sometimes just have to tweak certain things along the line and just make it very simple for everybody to understand. I'm just trying to use relatable words in my explanation. So my course is still in the pipeline, and I think I've probably documented every essence now. So until then, have a nice time.